So we are doing another bookshelf spotlight of this shelf right behind me here. This is a weird reading angle. I'm standing on some workout blocks right now because we are getting into the top shelves of my bookshelves, which I knew were going to be a little bit of a hassle to record, but I'm still going to do it. So yes, this shelf we're going to be looking at today, the books that I have read, I haven't read. I'm going to read a couple of them during this reading month. I actually already pulled them off, so if you've seen my TBR videos, those two books are already mentioned in there. I'll just mention them briefly here in case you haven't seen my January TBR. I pulled one of the Isabel Allende books from this spot over here, which is Inez and My Soul, which I'm actually about halfway into right now. And then I pulled this book, which was sitting right on top of this stack before, and that is The Black Tulip by Alexandre Dumas, which is a classic by the same author who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo. I can't wait to show you guys these. So let's just start off with the books that are stacked kind of like on top first. These two books are both nonfiction books. They are women artist books. So the first one, and I haven't read either of them, the first one is 50 Women Artists You Should Know. This is published by Prestel. I don't know who the author on this is. I think there's a few different ones. Christiane Wiedemann, Petra Laris, and Melanie Kleyer. This book has full color illustrations and profiles on 50 different artists. I haven't read this one yet, but you know, looking forward to getting to it one day eventually. And then the other one is a bit larger, and this is Women Artists and Illustrated History. This one is published by Abbeville Press and includes some color pictures in here as well with the different women artists that they talk about. And then over on this other side here, we have a couple of tiny books. So the first one we have is Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. This is the cover. I really love these. These are the Macmillan, I believe. Yeah, these are the Macmillan Collector's Library editions. These are so tiny and cute. I have shown the other one I have before, I think in a previous spotlight video, but they have these really nice blue like cloth covers, and I just think they're so well designed, so tiny and cute, and pretty affordable if you're looking for like a nice addition to collect of classics. I haven't personally read from either of them, so I can't comment on their like readability, but yeah, I haven't read this one either. It's going on the to be read pile. The other one is a tiny little book called Slouching Towards Bethlehem Essays by Joan Didion. This is part of a whole series published by Picador Modern Classics. There's a whole bunch more in these series that I would love to eventually collect. I just don't have them yet. And sorry if you guys can hear a lot of noise in the background today. It is so loud outside. I feel like the train is going by every 2 seconds, which I guess because it's Friday night, it runs more. I don't know. I'm trying to record in between takes of them honking at people and like sirens going by. But yeah, I'm sure some audio is going to come through in some stuff inevitably. But yeah, I haven't read this one yet. So I think I'm just gonna start on this side and work my way over. A couple years ago, I bought this set of Isabel Allende books that Harper Via published with these really cool covers on them, and I haven't read them yet. So one project this year is I'm going to try and read all of these, which this was definitely a gamble, buying 6 books by an author I've never read from before. But I just thought they were so beautiful, and I feel like her stuff and her work is talked about pretty well. So I decided to give it a try for myself. So I'll show you the titles we have here is Island Beneath the Sea, Portrait in Sepia, The Infinite Plan, and Daughter of Fortune. I know a couple of these are part of a series as well. They actually have, I think, a whole another set of 6 that they've published, but I'm not going to buy those until I read these ones first and see how I feel about her writing, and if I'm thinking that I want to read those, then I'll definitely pick those up then. Next up, we have a book series, and that is the Red Rising trilogy by Pierce Brown. I actually DNF'd this a couple of months ago, which is such a bummer because these are so beautiful. These are produced by Fairy Loot, so unfortunately like you can't get these editions anywhere online. I think I'm gonna possibly unhaul these. I looked the other day because I know that these had sold out, so I was like, maybe I can at least get my money back by reselling them on eBay or like some used book site, and it's crazy. I think there's only one or two other sets on the whole internet that I was able to find that were selling used, and one of them was like $2,000, which is crazy. But if I could get $2,000 for this set, you know, that would be really nice. I have to buy either a new car or a new engine for my car, so you know, that would be really good money to put towards that. So I'm thinking about listing these on eBay, not for $2,000, but you know, if I could get even my money back what I paid for these, that would honestly be nice. Like I mentioned, I read the first one, I got about halfway through the second one, and I just couldn't do it. It's just not a series for me. It's a science fiction series, and I know it's well loved by a lot of people. I believe it's even being adapted into a series or a movie or something, which I feel like I'll like the story more in that format than as a book. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait to consume the story that way. Also, I figured there was more books in this series than just the trilogy, so I wasn't gonna push myself to finish the trilogy and then there'll still be more books in the series that I'm not wanting to continue on with. So yeah, this series is a DNF. I just haven't unhauled it yet because I have to sell it. Then next we'll move on to this stack of books here. This shelf actually has a lot of my like special editions of stuff, or like really beautiful editions of books that I wanted to keep together. The first one I just showed you guys recently, I picked up the hardback sale at Barnes & Noble, is Swan in Love by Marcel Proust. Yeah, I haven't read this one, I just bought it like 2 weeks ago, but I really love the gold foiling on this. And this is a new translation by Lucy Rates. This is published by Pushkin Press if you're interested in owning this edition. The next couple books are from the same publisher, Virago Modern Classics. These are my Daphne du Maurier books. So I have Rebecca and Jamaica Inn. I read both of these and I really enjoyed them. These are the cover designs here. They're very nice, and I want to own, I think there's like 2 or 3 other books they publish by Daphne du Maurier, and I would love to have all of the set of them eventually. And they publish some other authors as well in these designs, but yeah, for sure, I want the rest of the Daphne du Maurier set. Like I said, I read both of these and I really enjoyed them. Next, we have 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, another book with a very beautiful design on it. I haven't read this one yet. I did read one book by this author last year, and that was Love in the Time of Cholera, which I really enjoyed the author's writing. Wasn't as crazy about the storyline, but I did enjoy Gabriel's writing, so this is one I'm definitely looking forward to getting to, hopefully sometime this year. Then next we have this beautiful stack of books here. So these are actually all part of a series. They probably should go on my series bookshelf, but I don't have enough room for them. And let me not drop these here, but I'm going to show you guys. I read the first one. I think I read it like a year or 2 ago, and I remember I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I loved it or I felt so compelled to keep going on with the rest of the series. And yeah, why I bought the whole series before even reading the first one, don't ask me why. I just really love the designs on these, and they're kind of hard to find, so I was like, let me just get them now. I forget what the name of the series is called. Oh, the Chronicles of Barsetshire, and this is by Anthony Trollope. I believe these are considered like classic books. So yes, I read the first one, The Warden, which is the smallest of them. The rest are all pretty chunky and kind of heavy, so I'll go ahead and show you the covers on the rest of these. The hardest one for me to find was the Barchester Towers one. The other ones were a little bit easier. I think I maybe got a couple on like Book Depository, and I think I had to get this one used from like eBay or something. So this one here is the Barchester Tower series. These are all naked hardbacks, which are my favorite type of books. And the next one is The Last Chronicle of Barset. Let me show you guys the cover on this one. Excuse my nails, I kind of have taken a break from doing them, but they're kind of gross right now. And the next one is Dr. Thorne. Here's the cover on that one. Then this one's probably my favorite. So the next 2 are my favorite too, of the designs on them. So the first one we have is The Small House at Allington, which has this nice color, and I like the little chair design. And then the last one is Framley Parsonage, and here is the color on that one. This book series I will definitely be getting to eventually. I'm slowly working my way through all the series that I have on my shelves. This one isn't like super high priority. I have some other stuff that I'm wanting to get to first before I jump into this series. So I don't know if it's a series I'm going to actually prioritize or try to read it all this year. I'm thinking I might read this one next year. Next, we have a set of books that are all from Penguin Classics, and I really love these because one of my other favorite book designs is when they have gold foiling on them. So the first one here is by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and that is The Great Gatsby. I have read this book. I think I've read it like 2 or 3 times actually, and I enjoyed the book. I want to own the rest of the series. They publish with the same design the rest of the F. Scott Fitzgerald books, but I just don't have them yet. You know, I only have so much room, so I have to prioritize what I'm going to buy, and also I have so many other books I need to read, so I don't need to be buying more books. The other two I haven't read yet, and they are both by John le Carre. The first is The Little Drummer Girl, and here is the cover on this one. And then we have Night Manager. And with some of these books, these classics, I don't really know too much about them. And I kind of want to go into them not really knowing too much on purpose, which is why I'm not like looking up the synopsises to tell you guys them right now. Then lastly, we have a selection of some of my books that have really nice sprayed edges. Most of these I think I purchased through Waterstones. If you're wanting to know like where I get books that have nice sprayed edges, the first one we have is Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. I read this one. I think the design on the edges is probably one of my favorite ones, honestly, and this is signed by the author. I know I got this one from Waterstones. Oh, and this book is kind of weird. We're following this family who they're staying at this like rental property for the weekend when unexpectedly the owners show up and are saying like the apocalypse, so something's happened, something crazy is happening in the world, and they have to come stay there with them. And it's just very weird and surreal, and I know a lot of people didn't like this book, but I enjoyed this one pretty much, so I'll be looking out for other books by Rumaan Alam. Next we have another book that I feel like I'm in the minority with, that of as far as people who like enjoyed it or not, and that is One by One by Ruth Ware. This is the sprayed edges on that one. I just felt like this one was a fun atmospheric setting. It's setting in the cold mystery. So with this one, we're following like this group of people who all work for this app or this company Snoop, and they're going on this alpine ski resort for the weekend. There's a lot of like tension and things going on between the different characters, and then there's this avalanche that comes and shuts them off from any help. And when one of the members goes missing, the group is forced to ask, would someone resort to murder to get what they want? Next, we have The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. I love this book so much. I am looking forward to rereading it again in the future. I think I gave it like a 4-star rating at the time that I read it, but I find myself thinking about this book every once in a while from time to time. So I feel like if I didn't give it 5 stars when I first read it, I probably would on a reread. So this is the edges here if you're curious to see what those ones look like. What I liked about this book was like the house was such a central character in this family's lives, and we're getting back flashbacks from this brother and sister from the past and current day. Even when they don't live in the house anymore and they're grown up, they still like drive by the house, and it still kind of plays a big part in their thought process. I really did like this book, and it was my second book by Ann Patchett. I also read her other book. I'm gonna blank on the name. I think it's called The Commonwealth. Yes, and I remember reading Commonwealth and thinking it was just okay, but then I picked up this one and I really liked it. Next we have Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil. Actually, I take it back. I think this is my favorite sprayed edge of all of them. This book specifically I had to order from some random bookshop in Europe through Instagram to be able to get this edition, because it was an exclusive, I think, for like small bookshops in Europe or something like that. I do enjoy reading books centered around the circus and stuff, so honestly from the beginning I knew this is a book I was probably going to like. And it takes place in 1866, and we're following Nell, who she's living in this village called Jasper Jupiter's Circus of Wonders, where she's kidnapped and put on display as basically this leopard girl because of the skin condition that she has. And through her being part of the circus, she gets to travel to a lot of different parts of the world and stuff. And I don't remember a lot of the finer details of the plot of this book now. It's been a few years since I read it, but I remember overall enjoying it. And lastly, we have another mystery thriller. This one is called Written in Blood by Chris Carter. I guess it's part of a whole series following this detective. I only read this one. I remember enjoying this book, but not feeling so compelled with it that I felt like I needed to pick up more books that follow this theme detective. We're following in this book a serial killer. His most valuable possession has been stolen, and now he must retrieve it at any cost. And then there's the girl, Angela Wood. She wanted to teach the man a lesson. It was a bag just like all the others, but when she opens it, the worst nightmare of her life begins. And then we have the detective, who a journal ends up on Robert Hunter's desk, and it becomes clear there is a serial killer on the loose, and if Hunter can't stop him in time, more people will die, starting with Angela. I can't remember if I showed you guys, these are the sprayed edges to make it look like a blood splatter. So those are all the books that were living on this shelf. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna put all the books back on the shelves, and then I am going to tell you guys how many I have read and how many I haven't read. Welcome back. So I have all the books now back onto the shelves, and all together There are 31 books that are currently living on this bookshelf, including the 2 that I have pulled out right now from my TBR. Of the 31, I have read 11 of them. So about a third of the books on this shelf I have read. So kind of low percentage, which I kind of figured because of the series that I haven't read, but hopefully I'll make a lot of good progress by the end of the year because like I said, I want to finish all the Isabel Allende books, and I have a couple ones that I'm reading right now, and I'm probably going to get rid of the Red Rising series or sell that one off at some point. So all in all, not my best shelf as far as having how many I've read, but honestly one of the best shelves when it comes to how beautiful the books on them are. And I know eventually I'll get to these, so it's not really like any stress or big deal. So we only have 4 more of these to go now. I'm going to be doing this shelf over here next to me that you can kind of see a little bit of next month, so definitely subscribe if you want to be able to see that as soon as it goes up, which will be about a month from now. As far as for today, hope you guys enjoyed seeing these books here and maybe you saw something that you want to pick up yourself in the future, but that is it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.